my name is John Creasel. I live in Cottage Grove with my wife Katie and my two sons, Elijah and Brody. Brody's 9 and Elijah's 10. And yeah, so that's, I grew up in White Bear, Vadnais Heights. I went to White Bear Lake High School, graduated in 2000. And since then, the past 11 years have been quite eventful. I joined the Minnesota Army National Guard on my 17th birthday. I was about 10 years old when the first Gulf War started, and I saw that on television. And you know, as a little guy, I saw those people on TV playing war just like we do in the neighborhood, except they do it for real. And I looked up to them. I thought they were very brave, and I thought if I could get paid to do that job when I get older, then count me in. So I stayed focused on that and spent my 17th birthday. The minute I was eligible, I was down at the processing station going through the physical and all of that stuff, and enlisted and did the job that I was so focused on doing for many years. I was sort of a knucklehead growing up, still a little bit of a knucklehead, and the great thing about it is I went to basic training. By joining the National Guard, you can sign up at 17. I went to basic training the summer after my junior year in high school. And so when I was done with basic training and came back to do my senior year in high school, I was a lot less of a knucklehead, and I was a lot better behaved, as you can imagine. They slapped that out of you quick down there. After my senior year, after graduation, I got to have my graduation party. I wasn't able to go to any other ones because I had to go back down to Fort Benning to finish my training. And this was the best decision I ever made. It made me into the person I am today. It taught me discipline, it taught me hard work, it taught me teamwork, and the value of those friendships that you get to know in the military. So that was 1998. For the most part, uneventful career until 9/11 happened. You sign up for 6 years active and 2 years inactive. And so after 9/11 happened, things changed. We all knew that at some point we would be deployed. When I got the call in 2003 to go on a deployment, I was expecting something different, but we were called up to go to Kosovo on a peacekeeping mission. And it's not exactly the job that you really, like I said, the job that you expect or anything like that, but it's the one that you receive, and as a soldier, you do as you're told. So I did that. We went over there, and you know, it was a great mission, protecting these people, keeping them from fighting. There are certain uprisings and riots and stuff. That was my first taste of being out of the United States and really learning to appreciate what we have here. Just the little things that we take for granted every day. You know, clean streets, sewers, running water, things like that you forget about. But never once over there was I really in fear of my life. When we had the big riots, there was big riots on St. Patrick's Day of 2004. It was, you know, you're doing your job and you're kind of fighting back at the riots, but you never have the feeling like I could lose my life today. So we go. Our biggest concern over there mainly was when we're done with missions, coming back and making sure we beat the unit from Iowa in floor hockey and softball. And we didn't beat them in softball. We were second place, but we crushed them in floor hockey. And we would come back on our safe camp. We would go on. We would go into the dining facility, the chow hall, and we'd be watching the news. And everything you see on the news at that point was about Iraq and Afghanistan. And it made all of us kind of feel guilty. We didn't pick our mission to go to Kosovo, but in the back of our head, we felt like they need our help over there in Iraq and Afghanistan. Our brothers and sisters do, more than they need us here. And I think we all felt that way. And when I got back from Kosovo, my contract was up, and I was considering getting out of the Army. I'd actually decided that I was going to get out and pursue a career in the emergency medical field, paramedic, firefighter, try out for St. Paul Fire. I got a call 3 months after I returned. My contract was right about to expire, and one of my friends called me. He said, "Crease, you're not going to quit, are you? You're not going to get out of the Army." And I said, "Yeah, I am." He was like, "You can't. Come on." And I was like, "Well, watch me." And he said, "Well, there's a deployment to Iraq coming up next year." I was like, "All right, I'm listening." He explained the logistics of it, that it would be the following October that we would leave and start our train up. This is December. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to talk to the boss about it. And so I talked to my wife and was like, Katie, you know, I was thinking about this. There's this deployment coming up. What do you think? And she said, I'm not going to tell you you should go, because if something happens to you, I will feel responsible. And I'm not going to tell you no, because you'll resent me. So I said, okay. She asked me then, and at this time I think I was 24, she said, answer this for me. When you're 30 years old, if you do not go, will you look back and regret it? And I said, yeah. She said, well, that's your decision then. And I support you. See, her brother has been in the military since the 80s. She has uncles serving, and her grandfather was in Pearl Harbor and floated in the ocean for 3 days waiting for help to come. And, you know, he survived. So her family has a history of military service, and she understands. And she said, I support your decision, and you know, it's part of why I love you. It's part of who you are. And so I was appreciative of that. And then I had to tell my little boys about my decision. I think they're 2 and 3 at that time, just little guys. I had to tell them, listen, I'm going to go away again. I'm going to go and fight some bad guys and make sure that there's little kids like you over there that don't have the freedoms that you have, but they deserve it. They deserve that chance. And so we're going to go over there and try to give them that chance to have the wonderful life that you guys have. And he said, all right, Dad, go get those bad guys. So I was like, all right. And that next summer was just putting ducks in a row, getting ready to leave. And in that fall, I had to say goodbye to my family. And I had to Mississippi to train up to deploy in Iraq. Got to come home for Christmas and all of that stuff, and then go back down to Mississippi just in time to finish our training and head overseas.